Hello everyone, my name is Tarja Jääskeläinen and I'm working for Helsinki Region Transport, HSL, which is a public transport authority here in Helsinki region. And my work is to promote sustainable transport modes. I'm going to talk today about data and customer insight in the city bike service concerning Helsinki and Espoo. Here in Helsinki, we have had city bikes since 2016, and then the neighboring municipality, city of Espoo, did follow Helsinki a few years after that. Both cities have tendered their services, and luckily we got integrated system so that you can bike from one city to another. The operator is called City Bike Finland. HSL wants to connect city bikes to public transport services, and we are responsible for digital services, communications, and marketing. Also, another neighboring municipality, Vantaa, did launch their own city bike service last year, but they did want a little bit different kind of service, and that's why it's not compatible with the service in Helsinki and Espoo. Planning of the station network is very important what comes to the usability of city bikes. Station locations are based on public transport network, places where people are living, where they work, where they run their errands and spend their leisure time. Cities have also asked from residents where they would like stations to locate. And actually at the moment, because City of Helsinki is planning extension of the service in Helsinki area, so there is going on right now a map survey where you can give your opinion about the new places for the stations. Here you can see the station map for this year. There are totally 351 stations and over 3,500 bikes, so many bikes. And last year, when the season started in April and ended in October, there were over 61,000 users for the whole season. And there were 3.7 million journeys. Utilization rate was very good. It was 5 journeys per bike per day, and it was even higher in Helsinki. It was 7, which is very good. Well, then this year we got COVID-19, and because of restrictions to mitigate the spread of pandemic, the use of city bikes did decrease. What comes to the whole season users, so there the decrease was about 30%, and in trips it has been approximately 20% less than last year. HSL is responsible for Journey Planner, which is one of the most popular online services in Finland. There you can search public transport routes, and also during the city bike season you can search city bike trips. And it's not just so that the whole trip would be made by city bike, but you can also connect that to public transport trip. Now, in the end of October, we will have a new journey planner, which encourages people to walk and cycle even more. If the route length is not too long, so then you get this suggestion to walk or cycle, or then use park and ride service. Just a few days ago, cities of Helsinki and Espoo did launch a new service together with Aavista. And there you can see not just availability of bikes at the moment, but forecast how many bikes there will be available, for example, in 15 or in 30 minutes. This application uses DigiTransit open data. And what is that? So HSL is providing public transport data open to everyone through DigiTransit service. And also city bike data is open there. And there is also historic data from trips from previous years. Then a few words about customer interaction. As I said before, map surveys are done concerning station locations to the residents. But then we also make customer surveys every year. And for example, last year we got over 9,000 answers to the survey. Of course, we have regular customer feedback channels. And then we got this year this new feature, which was asked by users. They wanted to give the error reports in the ride history at City Bike online service. All this data, what we get from these, we utilize for service development, maintenance, and marketing. Who is then the average user of city bikes? She or he, and it's mostly she, travels by public transport, uses a city bike a couple of times a week, mostly for leisure journeys, but also for commuting and running errands. Sometimes she travels part of the journey by a city bike and part by public transport. She is pretty satisfied with city bike service, and even city bikes do replace quite a lot other sustainable transport modes. They do replace also car trips. Then, of course, we have a lot of information about the users who are using city bike service, but it's very important to know also who don't use city bike service. We got this recent study this year where we got to know that non-users are older, they hold a lower level of education and lower than average income. And reasons why they don't use city bikes is that they ride their own bicycle, which is good. But then they felt also that service is a little bit difficult to use. And this is very logical reason that they don't use the service if they don't have city bike station near them. So this is our next challenge, how we are going to get these people to use city bikes. And this has to be taken into consideration when we are planning the new online web services also. So, thank you for your interest.
Okay, I'm also from HSL. My name is Eeva Jakobsson, and I've been working for public transport for over 20 years, as a service designer now for 8 years. My last project was to lead HSL area to the new zones, if you have heard about it. That was my project, and since the beginning of this year, I have been doing a new project of enhancing customers' engagement in HSL to develop our services with us. If somebody doesn't know, the modes of transport in this area are in this picture: metro, tram, train, and so on. What do we design at HSL? We design everything you see and feel and use on digital platforms, travel cards, traveling information. Everything is design, colors, and so on. We have done the cornerstones of our customer experience with our customers. We know that these are the important issues to them. the benefit and easiness of travel, of course, and being together, which was interesting, that on the buses and trams and metros, even though we are Finns, we still like the feeling of city and having other people around. Reliability, of course, the public service is important that the train comes when you want to go on the train. So that was the very, very short introduction of HSL, but then I have another part where I tell a little bit of how we nowadays design our services, and then I have a case study of our recent development, what we are doing with public transport service design, if you can say so. I'll explain later what I mean. But first about how do we design services? In the last year, we have been working with Solita, which is a big service design company or IT company in Finland. This picture is not meant to be understood more than that you understand that we have nowadays this customer-centric service. In our case means portfolio management. We have tons of issues we need to tackle and things we want to develop, and there was some confusion of which service development runs first, so we had to organize it better, and also learn more about how to make good concepts from the very beginning, so we don't do something that the customers are not interested in, like we just heard, and then have some service development coordination of how we are going to do it. What I wanted to show to you was this picture. In our work, it has been new to consider both the customer value or find out what it could be if we would start up this service. What is the social effect of the city area, of Helsinki area? What does it do, for example, city bikes to the local people here? Also to the community and society around us. Feasibility, of course, can technology do this? Can we make such machines that would recognize a person stepping on the train and just charge them afterwards somehow? Is it possible to do? How long does it take? What business value would it benefit us money-wise? Would it give us some money? Which you don't often think that we also have to consider the income, even though we are a public organization. Half of our income comes from the tickets, and of course now we all know that they have dropped for 30% at the moment because of the coronavirus. But not about that today. So we also we learned from customer studies that our customers are not sure how we are developing our things, and it doesn't feel like it's transparent how we make decisions. For example, about new zones or new metro line or new bus lines around the metro. How do you do it so that we could trust that the customers, you have actually asked the customers and you have planned the schedules and the routes so that they serve the customers the best? And the answer was quite clear. The customers are not sure how we do it. And the second thing is that people felt that the information we are spreading out to everyone is not relevant and interesting, and it's about general things and not about things that matter to me. And also, we don't show concretely what we have done with the data we have received from the customers. And that's something, learning to give back the data, or whatever we have done with the data, feedback, or research or whatever, that we would tell the customers what we actually did with it, or did we do anything. So we started up this project, like I said, that I'm leading, that tries to connect all these issues that are on this slide. We are trying to learn about how to communicate better to the customers so that what we say is relevant. We have to learn to give the information afterwards of what we actually did with what we learned about the customer and his issues or worries or problems. That means processes in the development also that we have to enhance. We have to also have better technical platforms. At the moment, all the information about the travel card users and the app users are in different places, for example. Now we are starting up new technical platforms. And data usage we have to develop in using that, actually the big data, like said, use it better and use it in the portfolio management as well. We are also changing the whole feedback process, the forms, everything in it, and so on, and also the public transport planning process. I will tell you now next about it. And of course, using the feedback data and so on. So, and then this is the picture about what data we want to use for the customer, and we're starting, by October, we are ready with the technology platform, with the customer profile that we can use for better services and better business. So the customer gets more better information about what we are doing with her data or his data, and also can target more the communication to them. So that's all several different technology platforms in process at the moment. But then about public transport planning, like I said, we go to Espoo now, which is a city nearby here next to Helsinki, and in 2023 we will start up a new metro line all the way to Kivenlahti, which is in the end of the western part of Espoo. I mean, southern, I don't know what it is, maybe, anyway. And we need to start up new bus routes around the metro service. We found out that we have different kinds of customers who want to participate, or some of them don't want to participate, but we need to listen to all of them. To the left here, we have withdrawers, satisfied, detached, engaged, outsiders, maybe the majority of our customers, and we don't get data from them, more than the technology-wise, maybe what they buy, but we don't hear the emotions, the feelings. They don't maybe send us feedback, they don't contact us. But the ones that are to the right, the responsible and critics and influencers and public transport enthusiasts, they do contact us. So we need to get everyone involved to actually get the real picture of the community. So we started up making a new picture of the process of public transport planning that would be transparent to the customers, and we have tested this with customers. The loop here, the orange loop, is going on at the moment with the Espoo city planning, I mean Espoo bus service planning. Here are dates of workshops and so on that we're doing. So we could show the customers better when is the time when they can affect the planning, and then when we actually finalize it and we have heard the customers. So far at least, in every workshop and interview, the customers has liked this transparency. Then we talked about qualitative and quantitative data, which is the quantitative data we have used always. The public transport planners know how to use that. That's engineering. But we need to bring in the feelings, the customers, the qualitative data. Go to the people, ask them, why do they feel like this? What is it that arises the emotions? What is the problem in the service that we need to fix? And we are doing this all the time. So just for us, which we are trying to teach also, like the public transport engineers, is the quantitative data gives us understanding of opinions and behavior of residents, and understanding the scale. For example, like this. This is questionnaire answers from last week from the city, Espoo citizens. 4,000 people answered, and we got answers about where they live and where they want to travel by public transport, where they would like the buses to take them, which metro station, for example. But this doesn't give us enough answers. We need more than this to make a good service. We also need to understand the true bottlenecks, the big picture, something we didn't know how to ask in the questionnaires. What else is there behind the lines? And we found out in the last 2 customer panels we had that, for example, you can easily, the customers don't mind changing from metro to bus or bus to metro if the change is easy. At the moment, Matinkylä metro station is like a bottleneck, and that's why people don't like the service in general. No matter how well we plan the bus rules and schedules, it doesn't help if Matinkylä is a bottleneck. So we need to tackle that issue to get the service good. And also, we found out that many people have fears now that the metro will be very busy and too busy to enter, and they already have a worry about that I don't know if I will use the service if the metro is too full. Well, at the moment, it's not a big problem since we have less customers, but I see the point. We have to tackle this issue. So we did real co-creation with our customers. We showed them even this difficult public transport decision-making process, how to plan it, how the engineers look at it. Should we have the left or right picture here? What kind of a service should we design? In the workshops, we were able to talk about the most complex planning dilemmas and get input from the customers. And we learned that we get information from the qualitative data in 3 levels that we don't get from quantitative data. First of all, to the more in-depth insight to the planning level of the bus routes. Secondly, the big picture, like I said about the metro stations, for example. And thirdly, we learn things that will be issues that we have to tackle with communication, of explaining how we have taken the customers' insight in different, maybe in the big picture, if we can't solve their personal problem. Thank you very much.
That was quick. So this leaves us more time for audience questions. So again, Eeva and Tarja, still, did you give up your microphone yet? Yes. Okay. So this means that we'll have focused questions from one of the presenters. I'm still looking at whether we'll have any questions from the internet audience, but I will make at least one question from my own behalf. First of all, I have to say that I'm very happy as a taxpayer and seldom user of the HSL services, although very little this year, I must admit, that you have kind of shaped up your process to this fine point that this looks very kind of exemplary, very good example of how to do things. That is actually my question: that how long has this taken, and how much work there is still to do to kind of get your user-centered process in the shape that you want?
Well, I said we started with service design around 8 years ago. It has been a long process of learning to use the service design methods in different areas of HSL. We are 4 people in the team, and we use Hellon, which is represented here today as well, and then Solita, as I said, also to help us with service design, like projects. But that's just a little surface of it. We need to get the change to the whole company of everyone who doesn't do service design. So we have been trying to teach people customer-centric thinking. First of all, that took a couple of years. And like I said, we have done a lot of digital services. We have done in the right way, if I would say, a long time. You know, HSL app, it works very well and so on. But now it's like a new area we are starting up this year, this public transport service. What can we bring to the engineers, from service design to the engineering? And that it has been a new thing for them, but HSL directors and the whole board is for it, and we all want to do this, but it's not easy. We have no ready answers. We don't have any book where we can learn this. We have to learn it ourselves, so it has been very challenging.
So I think this quite well describes an example of an organization that has roots somewhere else than in design, and it's, well, you might call this like design thinking induction or whatever, but anyways, kind of transforming or trying to transform the way the whole organization works. Okay, thank you. I have a few questions from the internet. Let me start with the first one. Then how do you manage or keep overview of all the customer journeys that HSL has in its services?
Yeah, the customer's journeys, that has been a challenge to tackle. But in different services, we have been able to do it. It's much easier to look at, for example, only feedback process and make a customer journey there, which is very enhancing. It helps us to understand exactly the different points where we need to fix. But the whole HSL is more in a general level, of course. But we've done several projects, actually, we also did some projects that we actually followed customers on the streets of Helsinki, and we just wanted to see how they manage, what's going on. And that helped us to draw this map of journey maps.
And are these documentations currently somewhere available for all engineers and other people to find them?
Yeah, we are actually doing also a platform where we have actually it already, but I don't know if the engineers use it, where we store all these issues, and we're trying to make them. We have also these customer-centric like a project group that are from different fields of HSL, and we meet once a month. And we go through all the service design projects we have, and we try to learn from each other and share the information all the time. So.
Good. And another question from Ulla Jones of DNA. What has been done internally and what by consultants? So what is the kind of division of labor between in-house and external? Is it clear?
Well, first, in the beginning of 8 years, it was more outsourced because we are learning also. But at the moment, we are leading and they are helping us. It goes like that.
So now you have a team of 4 internal designers.
Yeah.
So it's taken how long to grow that?
Well, we were just 2 or 3, and now we got, from the beginning of this year, we were able to hire 2 more people, 2 more designers, so it has been really great to get more people. So we would need much more because we do so many things. But we have also, in one way you could say, concept owners of HSL app and HSL.fi and so on, they are also designers as well. And they have a big group of other designers working with them from different companies. So it's a big team of people. Where the customer is definitely in the middle of the design.
Good, thanks. Final question. There's a question about utilizing emotions to design service experiences. What kind of methods or tools do you have? Or do you, for instance, capture the emotional points on the customer journey? So how do you handle that?
That's a good question. We've used different mapping of emotions, and we have gone to see also, like I said, on the real field of how people feel. And of course, we do a lot of, I think our major source is just interviews. And like, for example, planning the HSL app, we just follow what people are doing and what they would feel and where they get frustrated and what it feels like. And now we have been doing a lot of panel discussions also with customers. We can't go as much to the field now because of the coronavirus as we would like to. But those are the major ones, but I would be very eager to try many more. We always have a lack of resources.
Thanks, Eeva. And very big thanks to Eeva and Tarja from the HSL. Thank you for coming here. And I think we'll unfortunately have to skip. There are a few questions in the online, but maybe we can see if we can find answers to them then afterwards. Thank you so much.
Thank you.